Yeah, man, this man will come to talk about the Russia-Ukraine war and how it is really affecting civilization across the world. And I mean, and the corrupt world leaders them who is making billions of dollars from this war, so they have no interest of seeing the war come to an end. You know, powerful world leaders who now reap off of cheap grain, cheap oil, and cheap gas are weapon sale that is killing off thousands of people. You know what I mean? And they use secret terms and clause and clever words to suggest that, hey, you have to put the interests of our nation first. You know what I mean? So you put the interests of your nation first, but while your people is also there in Russia. And right, but you that in all these deep Ukrainian strike inside of Russia that there is no life lost. Come on. Whether they want to be civilian or military personnel, a life is a life for me. You know what I mean? And no human being should lose their life in a senseless war. I mean, why all these powerful world leaders sit down and are just look on while one man Putin, continue to wage an unjust war against humanity. This is not just against Ukraine, against humanity, because every country feel it, right? When you are shipping things from overseas, are importing or exporting things, vice versa, the cost is more higher. You pay more, right? For your light bill, your water rate, all these, you pay more. 'Cause remember, even though that some of these countries getting the Russian Highland gas cheap, the other country that who they sell back these Russian Highland gas to at a high price. You know what I mean? But all of these nations must remember, all these powerful leaders who are leading these nations must remember that there are one particular time in their history when their people, their nation was down, was oppressed. Alright? And they must remember that their ancestor cry out just the way the Ukrainian people is crying out today for peace and for justice and for freedom. So they must realize that even though the war and thing in their country probably come to a cease at this moment, it is not impossible for it to happen again if they don't step in and stop the unjust war in Ukraine. Right? Because let me tell you, the same way how China can sit by, and let me call him, the same way how China can sit by and tell itself that it is untouchable, and no one cannot invade them or fire a missile in their country, they are making a mistake. Right? This Ukraine war prove one thing and show one thing, that no one is afraid of a person who holds a nuclear weapon again. Ukraine demonstrate that very clear to Russia. They are not because they have nuclear weapon. We are not afraid to strike and strike deep inside of your country. Alright? So one time when country used to be afraid because of other country have nuclear weapons, so no, it's not gonna work. So if China sit by and feel that oh we have nuclear weapon and Taiwan or Japan can't attack us or the Philippines, yeah, they are making a mistake. A very serious one. Right? But this video is not to glorify war or push an next war in the world, but this video uh this is to say to these powerful leaders that the same thing that is happening, the war that is happening between Russia and Ukraine, can also expand to your border if you don't do something about it now and stop it. That is really what this video is about. And I mean, this video is really to show China that listen to me. Make no sense for you to try to say you want to invade Taiwan. Because Taiwan is learning from this war, Russia-Ukrainian war, and they are preparing. I remember it will not be an easy fight for you to just invade Taiwan, just like it is not an easy fight for Russia to just for Russia with their invasion of Ukraine. So I'm saying to these world leaders, instead of to sit back and still allowing people to die in Russia and in Ukraine from this sentence, bring it to an end, right? And the thought that you have in your head to invade other country, other nation, get it out, flush it out of your system, right? Respect each one borders, respect each country and their sovereign rights, and the world will be a better place. Alright? So I'm doing this video to just let these world leaders in the world shake up them for the ground. And especially in Africa, these African leaders. The amount of things that Africa really went through. And I mean, and some of these African leaders taking side with Putin. I mean, is these African leaders really African leaders that are really taking side with Putin? A life is a life. And every life that lasts in Africa through colonize through the colonizer and through civil war and others military power must be remembered. I must not for must be remembered. I must not push aside as just another life. And why it is important for all these lives to be remembered? that Africa must not go back to that type of rules of laws again, to that colonialism rules again, to that military rules again. Right? The thing about the military rules, them only look good in the beginning. But when military leaders settled in a seat, then they feel like they must not give it up, they must die in that seat. That is the problem with the military leaders in Africa. The bigger picture and the broader picture is this. This country in Africa who experience invasion, who experience war, who experience mass murder, who experience the worst type of brutality, must not stand behind Putin. That is the point that I'm really trying to make. Must not stand behind Putin and support this unjust war. A spade cannot be a shovel. A spade is a spade and a shovel is a shovel. Alright? And every human being life is important. Every life that lasts in Africa is important. And every life that lasts in Ukraine is important. Right? And Africa has the power to stop the war in Ukraine. Because Putin war is rests on the shoulders of the African continent and China. Those are he only continued the war because he have support from these two mighty nations. And if you know the time that this video is shooting now on the 6th of December 2025, you realize that one of the next country that